What's been happening today?
Today, I was raining here in Brisbane. I got up and did 20 Ks from 6 o'clock from Sandgate, ran up over the Hornybrook Bridge to Redcliffe and back again.
Only 20 Ks on a rainy Sunday.
Only 20 Ks today.
You slack ass.
So I'm in my taper period. So on Friday is the Oxfam Trail Walker. So I'm doing 100 Ks. The idea is to do that in 20 hours, so averaging about 5 kilometres an hour.
Say that again, 100 Ks in 20 hours.
Yep.
So what's that? Like?
So we got to average 5 Ks an hour.
5 Ks an hour.
Yeah, but so moving pace, that's a brisk walk, but it's non-stop for 20 hours.
For 20 hours.
Yeah, we'll be doing a bit of jogging down the hills, walking up the hills.
Yeah.
And then stopping periodically, have a feed, change the shoes and socks over to get dry, change clothes, that sort of stuff. So
who's we?
So I'm doing that with a couple of colleagues, so people from businesses that we work with. Other than So nobody at my work, but just people in the industry. So there's a group of 4 of us.
Oh, good on you.
Red Wine was involved in agreeing to do it.
It always is.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so that's this week, Friday. And 2 weeks after that, I'm running the Gold Coast Marathon.
Nice. So for those that don't know, how far is a marathon?
Marathon is 42.2 kilometres.
Don't forget those 0.2.
That's it. And that I'll be aiming to do in 3 hours, 30 minutes, which is 4 minutes, 58 per kilometre.
Okay.
Which is 10 kilometres an hour. 12 kilometres an hour for 3.5 hours. For
42.2 Ks.
That's it.
Nice. All right, mate. So I won't let you show off straight away too much. Mate, first of all, thanks for sitting down with me. It's really cool.
No worries.
You look like you've got your running jacket on now, do you?
It's an exercise jumper, but it was just because I've been out and about today, so just keeping warm.
You're not one of those people that sleeps in their active wear and goes shopping in their active.
Like that.
Are you one of those guys?
No, not quite, not quite the sleeping, but I'm pretty active, so I'm wearing active gear a lot, but yeah.
Cool, mate.
Out and about today, so keeping warm after being wet and cold this morning.
Great. So, look, I wanted to sit down with you and talk to you about this whole exercise journey that you've been on. But go back a little bit even before that. Like, what's been your background in the last 10 years or so?
Yeah, so from all when I grew up, I played rugby league, played a bit of rugby union, and that was it. I was made some regional teams, but never got any further than that.
Where'd you grow up?
Sorry?
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up mostly in Brisbane. So Brisbane for grade 1 and 2, moved to New South Wales for a couple of years and came back to Queensland. And I was here from then on. So
what would you say was the biggest difference in schooling from New South Wales to Queensland?
At that age, so it was grade 2 and 3 in New South Wales, and at that age, it was for me. I was actually going into an older age group, so
right.
For them, they'd been at school for an extra year.
So
they started a year earlier in New South Wales, so I did. It was kind of noticeable, a bit more of a maturity of the kids.
Grade 3 was the best 5 years of my life, actually.
Yeah. In terms of education, I don't remember any real differences, but I definitely remember there was a difference in maturity when I went down there.
How do you mean?
Just the kids were just playing different games. Like it was less about toy soldiers and blowing each other up in the sandpit, and more about kicking the footy and that sort of thing. So just a different level of maturity, I think, because they'd had an extra year of schooling and an extra year of sort of social awareness and growth. That's
okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why come back to Queensland after that?
So that was just we were moving around with Dad's job. So he was posted into Orange in New South Wales he was in sales in agri-chemical. So he was selling fertilizers.
Yeah.
And he moved back to Brisbane. Got a post here at Pinkenba, and so we just moved back for Dad's work.
Okay. And back to the similar place in Bris, similar area?
Yeah. So from then on, we moved to the north side, so that he could work there at Pinkenbar, and basically from then on, that was the next sort of 15 years of my life was on the north side of Brisbane.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Albany Creek Primary School, Albany Creek High School.
Nice. And when you're at school, into high school, what was the goal? Where did you want to get into?
Into high school, I was begging my parents that I don't want to be here. This is boring me, and I just want to go traveling.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be overseas. I wanted to ski and see the world and all of that.
Best way to learn. Get out there.
That's it. So so that's what I did. So as soon as I finished high school, my brother and he finished uni the year I finished school.
Yeah.
And we got one-way tickets. We had British passports, so we just went to the UK, one-way tickets, and
wow,
that was the plan. Get there and then figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah, I like it. Why did you have a British passport?
So Dad's originally from the UK. So
okay.
Yeah, because he's a citizen, we were
you're able to get in, right?
Yeah.
And was your brother in the same sort of place? Finished uni.
No,
so
he just finished uni, so he was a qualified teacher. So he was going straight into a job. He knew exactly what was going on, and I had no idea what was going on. So I'd only just turned 17, so 17 years and 3 months. So I couldn't even. I thought I'd be able to get some sort of black work behind a bar or something like that, and went to London and couldn't get anything in a bar in London.
Wow.
So I ended up working for a company called Extra Man, which was just labour hire. So I was getting paid absolutely nothing per hour to just shovel piles of shit from one side of work sites to another.
Wow.
And that was it. Yeah. So you just labour hire, cheap labour hire. We actually ended up renovating the London Hilton. So I spent quite a lot of time in the Hilton in London before it was any good and worth staying in. So
wow, that's impressive.
And after that, I had a partner at the time who's now my wife. We got a live-in job on the south coast of England in Dorset, and we moved down there out of the big smoke, and because it was a small country town, they were fine. I was able to work behind the bar there and work in the kitchen and whatnot. So
got it.
It was a pub with a couple of hotel rooms, and we stayed in one of the rooms, and so Beck was chambermaiding and working behind the bar and that sort of thing as well.
How did you meet your now wife?
So we actually went to school together. So when we were going overseas, when I was going overseas, she was had applied to uni and been accepted. And I said, well, I'm going, and I'd really like for you to come with. So why don't you sell your car, defer from uni, and come overseas? And she did. To her credit, she did it.
So how far into the relationship were you then?
So we'd known each other for a couple of years, and we'd been on and off once or twice in that period. But basically, it was pretty fresh.
Right.
Like it was a ballsy call. Like it was a really good call for to put it all on the line and just say, you know what, stuff it. Let's do it.
And was that a good idea, taking your newly girlfriend to this, trip with your brother?
Yeah. So she didn't have a British passport, so she had to buy a return ticket. So she bought an open-ended return ticket. So I guess there was that. There was always that thing there in both of our minds. There's a bit of a safety net here. If this doesn't work, no hard feelings. You can go home.
Can always shake hands and see you later.
You'll be right. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't have the typical experience of traveling that a lot of people have. So certainly a lot of young guys, they would have had a bit more a different level of experience.
Well said.
But at the same time, I did a lot of things now that I look back on with my wife, and we've got all of those memories. We've spent 14 years collecting memories together. So we've got the photo albums, we've got all of that stuff that we've done together. So it was different. It was different, but it was awesome. It was still awesome. So I've got somebody now who who I can share that with.
That's great.
My older brother's a little bit of a prude, so he was he loved that we were family, so it was like traveling with the family.
Got it.
So
okay.
He was around. He did not have a partner, so he was doing what young guys do.
He was a third wheel.
But he was happy for me and Beck to be an
do your
item,
thing.
and it was great.
Cool, man. How long were you there before you came home?
So the flip side was after a year and a half, Beck said to me, "I'm going home, and I'd really like you to come with."
Oh, right. Why? Why did she want to go home?
She wanted to be back at uni, so it was time to go to uni, start the career. So that was it. I was still sort of hell bent on traveling as much as I could. So she did international business degree, did some language while she was at uni, and I did a Bachelor of Arts in languages and applied linguistics. So I basically went to uni to study language so that we could both travel again afterwards.
Wow.
But then we would be able to get professional jobs. I could get a job as a translator or an interpreter. And she could work at a bank or some kind of finance institution, accounting or anything like that.
Got it.
And also with that language background.
So what?
That was the plan.
Yeah. Sounds like you had it all sorted out from a young age.
Kind of.
What?
It didn't happen that way, but that's what the plan was.
Exactly. What were the languages that you learned?
I learned Spanish and German.
Okay, and you're still pretty fluent?
I never got really fluent. So in Spanish, I could quite happily order beer and have conversations.
Yeah, you got the priorities right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So it was a lot more conversational. And with German, I never got the confidence to speak German very well. But I could sit with a dictionary and translate a document for you, no problem. So
wow.
So it was quite different. I've travelled a bit in German-speaking countries and Spanish-speaking countries since then. I actually had to argue with some traders on a beach in Colombia after uni, and my limited Spanish, I was able to tell them where to stick it, and that they weren't getting paid, and that my mates didn't have any money, and he was very sorry that he took the thing that he shouldn't have taken from them. So, it was
wow.
So
give us a sentence in Spanish.
Hola Matt, mi nombre es Geoff. Estudié español en la universidad. There you go.
That was
Geoff. I studied in the university, so just a little bit.
Well done. Thanks. I like it. All right, so back in Oz, when did you find yourself in a career, and how did that come about?
So I started working part-time in the family business while I was at uni. So the dad was the chairman of one group of companies, and there was a little side business that his business partner ran. And so I went to his business partner and said, look, I'm just looking for some part-time work on the help desk. It was an IT internet business. I'm just looking for some part-time work while I'm at uni. Would that be okay for you? So I started working for this business partner, and before long, I started realizing that I had a bit of a flair for sales. So customers would call up and they'd have a problem, and by the time they hung up, I'd upsold them and fix their problems with lots of things that they could buy from us.
What's the business? What sort of business?
So we were an internet service provider.
Yeah.
That was called Ultra Fast Communications. So customers would call up and in sort of troubleshooting technical things, I was able to just, get to know them, build rapport quite easily without really knowing that I was doing that. And so, it was not long before, I had a great relationship with the business partner, and that business just started to grow off the back of that, because now there were more people in sales in the business.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
And that was the genesis of the business that I'm now an owner in and still work in today. So after that, and that's what happened. So at the end of uni, rather than going overseas again, I handed in my notice to my boss and said, it's 6 months till the end of uni. Just so you know, this is the plan. This was always the plan, and I'm off. And he said, how much would it take for you to stay? And I said, no. He said, I didn't ask a yes or no answer.
It was
I didn't
open-ended.
ask a yes or no question. I said, how much? And so I sort of, oh shit, all right. So I went and, sat down with Beck and I said, look, this is what could be possible. What do you reckon? And she's like, well, I could just get a grad position anywhere. I could get some experience. So this could work.
Mm.
So yeah, that was 2006. So
and they accepted your offer.
Yeah. Yeah. So in hindsight, probably wasn't as brutal as I could have been.
Oh, true. Good to know.
I was very gentle.
Yeah.
But So it was a great move. It was a great move. So we continued to grow that business, and then 5 years ago, out of the success of a couple of key client relationships, we formed a new business, and I was the CEO of that business. That had some ups and downs along the way, but we're still going. We just turned 5 a couple of months ago. We've installed a CEO now, so I'm on business development full time, and we've got somebody else who's dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Can look over after the show.
Yeah,
that's great.
The business is profitable and sustainable, and it's a good thing.
Same sort of thing, IT?
Yeah, so it's we're a telecommunications carrier. So we actually build telecommunications networks into remote places. So one of the clients that grew so much in the old business was the mining company, and they called us one day and said, we've got this new site that we're opening up. And Telstra have quoted us a couple of $1 million, and they've said that it'll take them a year and a half to build all of the stuff that they need to build. And we scratched our heads and said, well, it can't be that hard. Let's have a crack. And I put together a deal that saw it. It was about $400,000 instead of a couple of million, and it took us 4 months to do it instead of a year and a half.
And you got the gig.
And we got the gig. That's it. And
well
so
done.
We realised there's a niche in this. There are businesses in the middle of nowhere that have very poor comms or very expensive comms or both. And there are communities out there, there are farmers out there, there are lots of people in remote places that don't have decent internet services. So
and if Telstra is your only competition, then you're going to go all right.
You got it.
Nice work.
That's
what?
it.
Give us one of your biggest things you've learned in business.
One of the biggest. People do business with people. So at the end of the day, you've got sometimes very large businesses that have got all of these corporate hierarchies, and you've got walls that lots of doors you've got to bang on. And the people inside that business are going to make decisions, and those people do business with people. You've got to be somebody who is personable, and you have to build relationships. You have to build rapport. You have to do it with the right people, and it becomes more complex the bigger the organization. But that's never lost to me. It's not a machine. It's not a game. You've got to get present with people. You've got to really connect with people, and if you can do that well, they like you and they want to do business with you.
Well said.
It really helps if you've got a good product to sell and you've got competition that are doing what they do and making it reasonably easy for you to compete. But it's at the end of the day, people do business with people. Yeah,
I like it. Do you have a business mentor? Maybe not someone that you know personally, but someone you look up to?
I've had a couple of business mentors over the years, actual one-on-one coaches and mentors. But somebody I look up to, Jack Welch.
Nice. I was thinking of Jack Welch as you were speaking, believe it or not.
So
there you go.
One of the funniest quotes of Jack Welch. They're in a boardroom talking about sacking somebody, and somebody says, "Well, maybe we should just hold off. I'm not sure." And he pins the guy against the wall, and he said, "Have you ever heard anybody say, 'I wish we'd waited 6 months more before we fired that person?'" So,
exactly. Have you read any of Jack's book?
That's another good thing that I've learned is hire slowly and fire quickly.
Exactly. Have you read any of Jack's books before?
Yeah, I do audiobooks quite a bit, so I listen to a couple of those.
Yeah, nice. Mate, I better steer this conversation because otherwise it'll become a business chat. And I can see that happening quite easily.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we you know, have set out to have a chat about, and that's your exercise regime, which is quite impressive. But before we get to all of that, why did you kick off? Where did you get to a point where you said, I really need to start doing something?
Yeah. So I've always been just a padded, just a little bit chubby. I've never been a fat guy, but I was always just a little bit chubby, even when I was playing footy a lot. I just always just loved eating. So always had a little bit of padding. And some people at work got Fitbits. And, you know, there was a little bit of vibe around that, and a bit of competition happened in the office. So I thought, I'll get one of these Fitbits, and maybe that'll be the difference. So it was the coming home from work on the 9th of May. I picked up the Fitbit from Office Works at, got home, put it on charge, and I wore it the next day, all day. And
for those that don't know, sorry, let me jump in. Tell the listeners what exactly is a Fitbit.
So a Fitbit is an exercise tracker. So I was wearing, it was like a little wearable watch type of thing. And it counts your steps every day. It monitors your heart rate as well. And then you can log into an app on your phone and set yourself targets for how much you want to walk each day, distance-wise, how many steps you want to do, how many calories you want to burn. You put in your age and your weight and whatnot, and then it measures that against your heart rate, and it says, well, therefore you're burning this many calories.
So you're having a competition at work as to who's doing the most calories or the furthest distance, or
that's it.
Whatever.
So the daily average, or the daily recommended number of steps, is 10,000 a day for an adult. So on average, you should be doing 10,000 steps a day, according to whoever, you know, some body that declares themselves
the regulating body,
the regulator on this. That's right. So they reckon that you should do 10,000 steps a day. So I get to work on this first day, the 10th of May last year, and I, you know, got out of bed, drive to work. I had my coffee in the morning. I had a normal day at work. I worked a bit late, so, you know, it was probably 7 or 8 by the time I left the office. So, you know, it was quite late. But I got home and I looked at my tracker, and I'd done 2,800 steps in the day.
Before even getting to work?
So no, that was at the end of the day.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I got home at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I'd done, you know, the whole day. I'm ready. I'm knackered. I'm ready to go to bed. And I've done 2,800 steps.
And you're supposed to do how many?
And I'm supposed to do 10,000 a day.
Got it. Can I just jump in? I like where this is going, but I want to say one thing. When you started, did you kind of go, I need to be doing something? I know you said you're a little bit chubby, and you're like, were you okay with that, or did you always say, I need to do something?
Yeah. No, I tried diets. You know, I'd been on light and easy for a bit. I'd buy a gym membership for a year and go 3 times. You know, I was your standard human.
Yeah.
Before that, and so, you know, I went through fads where I'd lose a bit and put it back on again. And working in IT and telecommunications, you know, we sit at desks and we're
sitting down all day.
So
sure.
Not real active. So yeah, you know, I've always thought, you know, I got to a stage where I was actually on the sort of the top end of the roller coaster. So I'd put an extra couple of kilos on, and I thought, no, I need to do something now just to trim it back a bit. So,
how old were you last year when you started?
So I was 30 then.
Okay.
Yep. So 30. And that was it. When I looked at my tracker at the end of that day, and I saw 2,800 steps.
Wow.
Like a light switch went. It just went. And I just said,
had you done anything besides be at work?
We went for coffee. I had meetings during the day. I was sort of just walking around, and
so you didn't do any exercise or any walking other than just work stuff.
Yeah.
Got it.
But what I realized was that was an average day.
You
know, that was a standard day for me.
And the regulating bodies are telling you 10,000, and your normal day you're only getting less than 3,000.
That's it.
So every day you're falling behind just in your normal world. Got it.
That's it. So, you know, I just snapped, and that was it. So May the 11th, 2016, I did 10,000 steps.
What did you do differently?
I made an effort. So I got up the next morning before work, and I went for a walk, and I did something like 8,000 steps. So, you know, about 8 kilometers or 7 kilometers, I just went for a walk, took the dogs out. So that was by the time I got to work, I'd already almost done my 10,000 steps. So walking around that time, you add your 3,000 on top of 8, and I'd done 11.
You're already there. How'd you feel after the walk?
Yeah, it was okay. Like, it was not really a struggle for me in terms of, pace wasn't fast. Just took the dogs out, just went for a stroll. So
got it.
I didn't push too hard, but I just got out there and got active. Just did the shoelaces up and went out the door.
Well, you went, yeah.
Yeah. So
did your workmates have a similar issue when they started this challenge, getting the 10,000?
Yeah, that's right. So we sort of we got into it because we'd sort of all there was a really nice coffee shop up the road that did great bacon and egg McMuffins. So we'd sort of had a bit of a culture of getting the full fat coffee in the morning and a bacon and egg roll. So it very, very quickly gets out of hand when you're doing that 3 or 4 times a week.
Good though.
Yeah, it was great fun. Great fun. Yeah.
Okay. So you kicked off. You're getting your 8,000 before you even start work.
Yeah.
What that afternoon? Did you do something as well, or?
No. So it was more about 10,000 was the goal, and I just did it. I just got in, just religiously. I did it every day.
What was the competition at work?
It was, so we didn't really have it. It was just sort of a rivalry between.
Okay.
We just compare notes during the day. So I've already got this far, and I'm gonna get home and do a walk. So we just G'd each other up basically.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have a plan in mind, or was it just to make sure you got the 10,000 steps?
So it was, just to get the 10,000 steps. It was binary. That was it. It was just I did or I didn't. And I just didn't let that happen. So I did the 10,000 steps every single day, and I started the Fitbit tracker. The Fitbit app has got food input as well. Yeah. So I started tracking the food I was eating, which was really helpful as well. So I was measuring calories in and calories out. It's quite an addictive app, so it works well to get you in the swing of things and actually get you putting the data in
into a routine,
moving and getting you fighting for hitting the targets that you've got to hit. So I found it really supportive.
Yeah, got it. So the first day you didn't even get your 10,000, but the next day you got that sorted out. Was there something that just kept you going straight away, like to get into that daily routine? Was that the plan?
That was the plan. So I think it was the addictiveness of the app that actually kept it going. So it was kind of, it was really simple. I knew what I had to do. Like there was no magic about this at all. I just had to walk enough, and I would meet the goal. So it wasn't like I didn't know how to do it, or any self-doubt. It was just
Just got to do
just
it.
Put my shoelaces on and do my shoelaces up and go. And I just didn't accept excuses. So that was the hardest thing. After a couple of days, you do one of those late meetings and you only get home at 8, and you look at the clock and you've only done 4,000 steps for the day. I just put my shoes on at 8 o'clock and I went for a walk, and I got home at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then had dinner, or
What do you think? Because that's massive, right? Like I've had a fitness background in the past, and people's excuses are the big thing. And to just wipe those out and just put the shoes on and go out the door, as simple as that sounds, is the biggest reason why people stop.
Yep.
Why wasn't it an issue for you, do you think?
I don't know. It's a good question, and I just didn't let myself off the hook. I just didn't accept it. Like it was. I knew that the hardest bit was getting out the door, and I knew that was only 20 steps. So I just said, I'm just going to take these 20 steps, and I'm going to feel better after that. And even I'm just going to get down the road a little bit, and then I'll feel better after that. And I didn't accept my own excuses. And it was, I had that in my head that getting through the door was the hardest bit. So I knew that all I had to do was just get out of the door. Once I was outside and the door was closed behind me, it was no problem.
Then you're right.
Yeah.
So every day for over the last 12 months, you exercised?
Yep, every day. So a couple of days I cycled, a couple of days I surfed. but every day I did something.
Every day you did something to work on your health and fitness for the last 12 months.
Yep.
So I think the people that will want to watch something like this is because that to them is, I don't want to say a challenge, but I will, a challenge, but also, you know, something that they themselves might want to do. You know, like you said, people buy gym memberships, sign up for 12 months and go 3 times.
Yeah.
And can I just say, as a past gym owner, you're the best type of member. Pay $1,000 and go 3 times. We love people like that.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But if you could sum it up, and I want to obviously go through this journey a little bit more, but at what point did you go, I'm going to not miss a day for the next 12 months? Was there a point where you went, wow, this is actually becoming something bigger than I first thought?
Yeah, absolutely. So to start with, it was, I didn't really have a goal of how long. There's another guy I follow on Facebook who at the time had just celebrated 2 years of running every day. And it was at least sort of 2 kilometers a day. So I'd sort of followed his journey, and so I knew that a streak was possible. So it was kind of in my head already that you know, people do this. But for me, it was just I want to lose X amount of weight. So at that stage, I thought I wanted to lose about 10 kilos. So I just thought, well, it's until I lose 10 kilos. And so when I started watching the food and exercising every day, it fell off me. So I lost that weight, you know, at about 1 kilo every 10 days and fairly consistently. So after, you know, it was only 3 or 4 months and I'd lost 15
kilos. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've lost 15 kilos in the first 3 months. That's, you know, well done. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it just the 10,000 steps a day, or did that sort of advance in that time?
Yeah. So in the end, I was probably averaging around 14 to 15,000 steps a day by the end of that. So that's 100,000 steps a week.
Were you running?
Sorry.
Were you jogging at that stage?
Yeah. So a little bit of jogging in with the walking and actually I was just out for a walk one day and it started raining. So I just started jogging because I wanted to get home sooner.
Yeah.
That's absolutely awesome. When I started running.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So and it just so once I got through the weight, I was like, well, now I've done this for 4 months every day. How much longer can I go? And I was getting fitter, and so I started entering a few running events. So I thought, well, I've got to train for the running event, so I'll just keep exercising every day because I'm training for the running event. And
had you done running events before this?
No, never. No. So this was a new thing for me.
When you did the first running event, where did your head go?
So my brother actually has done some running events recently. So again, it was I just got the idea I could give that a crack, and I did Bridge to Brisbane, the 10K.
10Ks, yeah. Over the gateway.
So this year's not. It was from Wickham Terrace down across the go-between bridge.
Oh, okay.
And then down. So a couple more bridges that actually goes through four bridges these days, but it's not the gateway anymore.
Okay.
So that was sort of August last year. I think that was the first running event I did, and
how was that?
It was great. I had a goal of running 10Ks in under 50 minutes, and I did it in 46. So
hang on, because that's a really impressive time for someone doing their first running event.
Yeah.
Did you sort of take up running pretty easily, would you say?
Yeah, I did. So I did take it up pretty easily. By that stage I'd lost all the weight as well. So actually, when I started training, I was carrying a lot more weight.
Yeah.
So as I lost the weight, I got faster and faster and faster.
You had less sacks of potatoes to carry around.
That's it. But like I said, I always played rugby. So we always used to do sprint training and rugby. So but I'd never done other than cross country in school. I'd never done a run before.
You'd never done a running event like that, as you say. So was there nerves? Was there were you sort of comparing yourself to those around you? What was going on in your head at the race?
Yeah. So I guess a lot of this whole journey, it's really comparing myself against my own expectations. So that was the biggest thing. So I was nervous. Because I'd set myself the target of 50 minutes, and I thought that's most people don't do that. Like they wouldn't be able to run that fast after quite a lot of training. So I was
5-minute Ks is quick.
Yeah. So I was nervous that I'd set myself the expectation, and I didn't want to let myself down.
What was your fastest time before that? What sort of Ks were you doing?
About 52 minutes. I'd done one around home in about 51 or 52 minutes. Yeah.
Got it. So
I had to run a bit faster than training.
Exactly. So to get under 50 minutes for 10Ks would have been a PB for you, a personal best.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And how'd you go?
I've smashed it. 46 minutes.
True.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you run down off Wickham Terrace for the start of it. So I belted the first 2 kilometres out in 4 minutes 30.
You were flying.
I was flying. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, and the adrenaline kicks in, and you've got all of the people around you, and I just fell over dead across the finish line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Like I've done lots of running events, and you might pay 70, 80, sometimes more money than $100 to go for one of these running events, and people will say, "Why are you paying money just to go for a run?" And I always say, "You've never done one before, have you? Because if you had, you'd know why you pay." It's just the experience. It's all tied up into that atmosphere.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So after Bridge to Brisbane, my brother was training for a half marathon. So I thought it just had to escalate. So now there's a bit of a rivalry with my brother.
Nice. Is he a runner?
I signed up for the Twilight Bay half marathon, so 21.1 kilometres. That was at the end of September. So it was about a month and a half later, or just over a month later, of training to get from a 10K to 21.1. So I started increasing the kilometres to train for that.
Did you have a goal time-wise in your head?
So that I wanted to do in less than 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So
so that's your 6-minute case.
That's right.
A little bit under. Yeah. Right. And how'd you go with that?
1:46.
Shit. Geez, you're moving. I think the Australian Olympic Committee is going to give you a call. So.
I'm a fair way away from Olympic pace, but so that was 5-minute Ks. It was about 5 minutes and 1 for 21.1.
For 21 Ks. Did you notice the difference from 10 Ks to a half marathon?
Yeah. It was, so I'd done 17 and a half kilometres was my longest training run. And the kilometres from 17 to 19, that 2 kilometre block was just a brick wall that I was pushing against. And I got out the other end of that, and I sort of saw that I had now just over a kilometre to go. So the adrenaline kicked in, and that got me through to the end. And I actually started cramping about 200 or 300 metres from the end. So I was limping and hobbling across.
That's good.
At the finish line.
Some people are doing that at halfway.
Yeah.
That's good.
I had absolutely nothing left in the tank at the finish of that.
For anyone listening to this, or people in general that really wouldn't understand what it's like here you are, you're getting very passionate about running. A lot of people go, "Oh God, it's just running." What would you say to someone that just really doesn't or has never experienced what you've experienced through running?
Yeah, so I never ever expected it to be like this when I started. So I was not a runner. I was not a person who loved running. And as I did it for weight loss, and as I got that addiction to the data in the app and measuring the calories and started seeing the results of losing weight, it happened in the background. So I started to develop the dopamine hit that you get from running. So now at that stage, anytime I went for a run, I just sort of get this euphoria at the end of it. And so it was just the process I went through of having the app and going through everything I went through with the Fitbit. It just set me up for it. So I got out of it, and I've got a natural tendency to escalate things, and so you know that get a bit competitive and that sort of thing. But the love for running that I have now, and the ability I have to just go out and run for a couple of hours, that's new. That came because now I get those endorphin rushes from doing it. You know, I got it's just it happened. It developed. It wasn't there to start with.
Got it. Have other areas of your life changed because of this daily routine?
Yeah, so it turns out the more kilometres I do, the more sales I make at work.
Is that right?
There's a
that
reasonably
true?
good correlation between sales success and how far I'm running.
Why don't you ever stop running? Then just do like 100 Ks a day.
So yeah, look, my mind's sharper. I've got a lot more stamina during the day because I'm not as unhealthy. Like I'm fit, and yeah, my mental agility has improved a lot. So because of that, I'm better at work. I've got the dopamine hits and this euphoria that I get. So I'm actually in a better mood with my wife, and so
Right.
I'm able to be more calm and loving in my marriage.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, the positive impacts of it just spill out everywhere.
I like it.
It's really amazing. And you know, one of the biggest things I actually had to give up to make it happen was TV. I just stopped watching. You know, I used to watch lots of TV shows. I used to really like watching TV series and that sort of stuff. So you'd get home and you'd eat, and you'd turn the TV on and watch a couple of episodes a night. And that time I spend exercising now. So I just watch so much less TV now. That was really the only thing that I had to give up. Yeah.
It's I had like three thoughts go through my head. One of them was, there's so many people out there that say, I've got no time to exercise.
Yeah.
And then you ask them, how much TV a week do you watch? And, you know, if they measured it, it's like nearly a day's worth of TV a week that people watch, right?
Yeah.
Did you notice that straight away, the TV thing?
I did, because we started slipping behind on the shows that we like.
That's right.
You know,
you're falling behind.
We're seeing adverts on Channel 10 for the new NCIS episode, and we're going, I haven't seen the last one.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the one before that, or the one before that. You know, like that was the biggest thing. That was the impact. Was we just had to acknowledge that we don't actually have a lot of time for TV anymore.
That sort of stuff.
The ones that we want to watch, we have to make time for it on the weekend or something like that.
Got it. You mentioned mental agility there. Tell me about that, maybe where you were previously versus when you noticed that changing, improving.
Yeah, so I guess positive mind frame. So you know, when less stress, less less anxiety around just you know, not full on anxiety, but you know, you get
you could deal with stuff better. You could deal with stuff better, would you say?
Yeah. So that's a good way of putting it. So just had a lot more emotional intelligence, emotional petrol in the tank. So when stuff came up, you know, I didn't snap as easily, or I didn't lose focus so easily. So yeah, you petrol in the tank, I think, is a good way to put it.
I like that. Both at work and at home, would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I say to my partner all the time, if I can't get out and run, you know, I'll have a day at work and then come home and I have to go on at least like 15, 20 minutes, you know, because if not, I'll just go insane. I have to get out and just, you know, it's like getting all that negative, and it's not even negative, but maybe it's a built-up anxiety that's inside me all day long, similar to your role, sitting in front of a computer. I need to go and expel that.
Yeah.
You know, and if not, I'll
nervous energy almost.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the half marathon, what was the next big goal?
So after the half, I signed up for. So there was another half marathon I did earlier in the year in March. I'm trying to think of the timing for it, but it must have been late last year. So when entries for the Gold Coast Marathon opened late last year, I sort of had seen it on Facebook come up that entries were opening, and I just said, you know, it's 7-8 months away. I'm currently able to do a half, you know, reasonably quickly,
comfortably. Yeah.
I think that's the next escalation, and so I just sort of declared it. I said, that's it. When entries open, I'm going to enter, and I'm going to run the Gold Coast Marathon next year. So I think it was December 6th the entries opened, and I'm entry number 176 or something. Like I was there and on the first day and lined up and got my entry in. So
wow,
just by putting it into existence like that, just having it, you know, there was no if, buts or maybes. I'm going to do what it takes now to train for the marathon and give myself the best shot at running a quick marathon.
Has that been helpful for you, having these big events leading up to make sure you stay on track?
Yeah. So that's, you know, that was probably 6 months into my journey of exercising every day. Now I've got something that's 7 months in the future. So I've got a training program of how I'm going to get to be able to run 42 Ks flat out. You know, that's it's something that you can't just turn up and do one day.
Exactly. So, I think a lot of people do, but they don't make the whole journey.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a long time between drinks. Yeah. And I know it sounds like you've got a training program set up. But is there moments where you think, oh, I'll just skip today? No one will know. I'll just have today off, and then tomorrow I'll do extra. Do you have days like that?
Oh, I have days where that goes through my mind. Yes. So there's probably only about 5 or 6 days over the last year where I just wanted, I would rather have stuck pins in my eyes than put my shoes on outside for a run.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but none of those occasions did I give up.
Wow.
I came home. I've been sick. I've been really tired. Like one night, it was like 11:15. I went for a run at 11:15.
Wow! You went outside and went for a run at 11:15 at night.
It was bloody close to midnight, and I was getting the anxiety because I'm looking at my watch, realizing that I'm not there. I haven't hit my targets for the day, and it was, you know, we'd been out at a function or something, and you get home and it's pitch black, and I just put my shoes on and I went and I did it. And I don't know. That was the hardest thing for my friends and family to understand. They were just like, absolutely everybody in the world would understand you if you gave up then and said, I'll just do it tomorrow. Everybody would make an excuse for that, and I just didn't accept it. I said no. I said that I was going to do something every day, and I've got to go.
Why do you think you're able to do that, and so many other people use that as a very justifiable reason to go, oh, it's all right, it's late, I'll do it tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm stubborn.
Like I've got this thing, right, where I can't remember when I had a day off work from being sick. I can't remember having a sick day. I'm not even sure I've ever had a sick day. Right. And I'm nearly 38 years old, and I don't think I've ever had a sick day. I'm sure one of my old bosses from 20 years ago will say, yes, you have. Yeah. But I can't remember having a sick day. So now it's got to that point where it's like, even if one of my legs has been cut off, I'll still go to work because I don't want to lose that, that, you know, what I've set up there, you know?
Yeah.
Was there a part of that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So once the streak got long enough, it was just, I can't break it now. I can't break it now. I've got 8 months under my belt. I can't break it now.
Exactly.
So I even said when I posted on Facebook that it's been 365 days. I think I'll have a rest day on Friday. And it turns out that Friday I was in Singapore, and we walked around Singapore for about an hour and a half. So I did something like 14,000 steps that day. So, you know, it was just...
that was your rest day.
Yeah. I've still not had a day where I just sat on the couch and just didn't get out and do something.
Got it. So is it right in saying that for every day over the last 12 months, because it's been 13 months now. Would that be, that'd be right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Every day for the last 13 months, you've done over 10,000 steps.
So some days I haven't done 10,000 steps, but I've done 30 minutes of exercise. So, I've done a surf or a bike ride or even a walk or a shorter run.
Something equivalent.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I think you could count the number of times I didn't hit 10,000 steps, probably, if not on one hand, on two. It would be
on a hand and a half.
10 days in the last 390 days or whatever it is now. It would be less than 10 days. And on each of those days, I did something else.
Got it. Taking it away from exercise for a second and just looking at creating habits.
Yeah.
Daily habits, which is so powerful with anything that someone's planning to do, to do it daily to the point where it's just something that you do. Yep. My question is, if people are listening to this, what could they do to create these daily habits?
So, the goals I had little rewards on them. So, for me, using this app, it's got, you get gold stars when you meet the level for each of the things that you're trying to target. So when you hit your calorie goal, you get a little buzz on your wrist, and it sort of says, well done. And so you're getting positive feedback. It is so important to acknowledge and reward yourself when you meet your goals, no matter how small they are. And you don't want to acknowledge yourself with chocolate if you're trying to lose weight. You want to acknowledge yourself.
Yeah.
It's so important because we dwell on the negatives all the time. We hammer ourselves for the negatives. And so it's so important to acknowledge when you've done something that's in line with what you're committed to. So this, the app, for example, every time you do something that's in line with what you're committed to, it's giving you a little, digital chocolate bar.
Got it.
So, it was, I owe a lot to the app and to the Fitbit, because it had that structure of keeping me sort of engaged in what I was doing. And then it really wasn't long at all before that manifested in physical, weight loss. And so, I'm looking at the scale and putting that into the app, and then I'm watching the trend line go down as I'm losing weight. So, positive reinforcement is such a big thing. I did even read something that you should put, like, if you like chocolate, put one of those little Cadbury minis or like a Freddo frog with your running shoes, and tell yourself that when you put your running shoes on, you can have the frog.
Got it.
And within 1 week, you don't actually need the frog anymore, because
you're just doing it.
Yeah, you've built the habit, and you've built something in your body that says, putting your running shoes on is a good habit. It's a good thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After the 12 months, because that was obviously got to a point where that was the goal every day for a year.
Yep.
How did you reward yourself, and how did you do that?
So my reward now is the endorphin rush. So I don't, I'm a lot happier all the time. I don't actually need I don't need to do anything special for it.
Exactly.
So, now it's the habits there, I said I'd have a rest day. It's not, I haven't, but it's not because I'm not, because I'm avoiding it or I'm still going on the streak. As part of my program, I will have rest days over the coming 4 weeks, because I've got a marathon.
It's important you have them, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've got the trail walker on Friday. So I can't imagine I'll be doing a lot on Saturday or Sunday. After that, but
how far is it? 100 k's.
100 kilometers.
Yeah, right. You are allowed a rest day after that.
Yeah,
Jeff, I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to that?
I might get up and walk around the block still, but just to keep the legs fresh.
Are you looking forward to the 100 k's, or is it scary?
It's a little bit scary, but I am looking forward to it. I'm running with guys who have done it before. I've never done a trail run like this before, or a trail walk like this before. So we've done plenty of practice walks, but this will be the first really long event that I've done. So the longest run I've done is about 3.5 hours. So this is going to be a completely different mental battle once I get beyond that couple of hour mark. So I give myself the fitness to do it. The physical endurance I'm pretty comfortable with. So I'm going to be managing blisters and rolled ankles and making sure that I don't get any of those.
Exactly.
And just managing my mental state. So, keeping it together after, just extreme tiredness and extreme exhaustion from going for that long. So that's for me, that's what's ahead, is dealing with that and getting through that. But we'll work together as a team to G each other up and get each other through. So, I'm not doing that alone.
Yeah, got it. You said 3.5 hours. How far did you cover in that time?
So the longest run I've done so far is 36 Ks, so last weekend I did 36 Ks as my longest training run for the marathon, 42.2. So I'm tapering now, so pulling the distance out and just slowing down leading up to Trail Walker, because I don't want to arrive, being exhausted from training.
So the most you've done is a third of the 100 Ks. Do you feel like you've done enough preparation?
Yeah, so it's a completely different type of exercise. So that was 3.5 hours of heart rate at maximum and fast pace. So that was 5 and a bit minute kilometers. So that was running fast for 3.5 hours.
You're moving,
and so this is a brisk walk for 20. So it's a completely different way to eat up the kilometers. So we've done a trail walk. Actually, the trail walk was probably just over 4, but we did 30 kilometers. So it's a lot slower. You rest, you eat along the way. So it's a different event.
Whole different ball game.
Really, we just got to break it up into each of the segments, and we've got a plan as to when we'll stop, when we'll eat, when we'll drink, and keep hydrated, that sort of thing. So we've got a plan. We've got to just walk the plan now.
Yeah, stick to the plan.
That's it.
What would you say to someone that's about to start, I want to say an exercise program, but I'm thinking any long journey, right? And I mean that metaphorically. It might be in business or savings or a relationship or nutrition, which we haven't really touched on, but obviously that was something that changed significantly for you. What would you say to someone that's thinking about kicking off this new journey?
What are you going to do today that's in line with that? And make sure you do that today. Worry about tomorrow. Don't look at your 100 kilometers as something that you got to do in the next 20 minutes. What are you going to do today that advances to the goal you've got? That's what you got to do, because that's the action you can take right now.
I like it. And even if it's 11:30 at night, right?
That's it. That's it.
Nice one. Mates, great chat. Really appreciate your time.
No worries.
You're looking really good too. Can I say?
Thanks very much.
You look like someone that's exercised every day.
Yeah, my wife seems to like it, so I think I'll keep it up.
Awesome, mate. Great chat. Talk soon, Geoff. Good on you, mate.
Thanks very much, mate.
See you.